Hi. Wow. Good morning. Today is November the 14th, the year 2022. Right now, I would say it's about, no, I wouldn't say it's about. It is 10:18 a.m. 10:18 a.m. I want to touch on some things that probably everyone has gone through. And the thing is, you can't always help who you live around and who you live amongst, You can't always help that. I have spoken on my situation before, and of course, as of many of you know my situation as far as not having a place of my own. I always think that even if you have a roommate or you're shacking up with someone, I always look at that as a homeless situation. As long as you don't have your own, I always look at, all weekend, because they had done it before as far as where I'm living at in this building. I talked about it before that they've always given notice when they're going to turn the water off. I remember a few weeks ago, I think it was several weeks ago if I'm not mistaken. It was very early in the morning, and they gave no warning that they were going to turn off the water. And this was very early in the morning, mind you. So I was kind of very peeved at that. And but thank goodness what I was able to do, I was able to fill a bucket of water and and clean myself that way, and then heat up the water on the stove. I want to touch on living around spiteful spirits. Sometimes it's not even the people you have to look at. It's more along the lines of the spirit that resides in them. For the whole weekend in this building, they had a sign up. They had a sign up last week also, and they said that they were going to turn off the water. They turned off the water last week about 2 hours. I wasn't here, but I saw the notice. And I think that that's what I'm going to have to start doing. I have to start taking a picture of it also. But let me tell you what happened just a few minutes ago, because it's so pertinent, and I've touched on living with sinister and malicious spirits and people. All weekend, I think it was Saturday, Sunday, They had a sign on the door, and it's on the elevators, it's downstairs, it's on the front door of this building. And they turned off the water last week for about 2 hours. It was, but like I say, I didn't mind because I wasn't going to be here. I usually leave in the mornings and don't come back until in the evening, late in the evenings. So then I saw that they were going to turn the water off again today. And it was going to be between the hours of 3 and 5 p.m. So they had they marked it on Monday, on the 14th. It was written in. So whatever they had printed before, now they just write in another. So I didn't mind because I knew I wasn't going to be here between the hours of 3 and 5 today, because I usually leave, much earlier than that. So I got up this morning and, I'm taking care of some stuff in my room and everything like that. I'm getting ready and, I put my clothes out. I'm going to go take a shower. So it was about 9:45, about 9:30, I'm not sure, around there. The doorbell rang. I don't have any company, and I rarely do. It's usually for one of my roommates, and so it's only one roommate here now. So that's the one that usually gets a lot of visitors and company and whatever. So of course I attributed the ringing of the doorbell as her company. I paid no attention to it. I heard her, went to the door, and she asked who it is, and so I didn't even listen out. It was none of my business. It was so funny. Listen, I didn't pay attention because my room door is closed. Once I heard her address who was ever at the door, once I heard her address them, then I knew that, that was her company. It was none of my business. And I want you to understand something. Let me tell you how pertinent that is. This morning I had on a sermon, right? And this sermon, it was, from one of my pastors. And the title of it was Mind Your Business. Please mind your business, right? Please mind your business. So the doorbell ringing wasn't my business. I wasn't expecting anyone. So I went in the bathroom, whatever. I'm doing my business in here. So I'm putting my clothes out. I'm getting ready to. I hear voices out there that, like I said, it's none of my business. That's her company. I always hear voices out there. It's her company. So I'm about to go to take a shower, right? I'm about to go take a shower. And there's no water. There is no water. Now, mind you, they have a sign all throughout the building on every floor. And they're letting you know that today they're going to turn off the water November the 14th, Monday, November the 14th, between 3 and 5 p.m. I look at the clock, it's 10 o'clock, it's 10:15. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not 3 p.m., right? That's not 3 p.m. Why would you turn off the water at 10 o'clock in the morning when you said you was going to turn off the water between 3 and 5 p.m.? Why don't you have the water on? I would like to take a shower this morning. I would like to take a hot shower this morning. Why would you turn off the water? Why would you turn off the water at 10 o'clock in the morning? But you said you have all the note. I would like to go somewhere. I would like to leave out, but I can't leave. I need to wash myself. I need to clean myself. Maybe if I was a man, I would have been able to get away with it, but when I leave, I have to be able to wash myself. When I go out, I spend all day out. So why would you turn off the water at 10 o'clock in the morning when you have a notice throughout the whole building saying that you was going to turn off the water today at 3 p.m. and between the hours of just between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. And then I got to thinking, right? What, who was at the door, right? Did somebody come to the door and speak to her and tell her they was going to turn off the water? But I'm thinking to myself, that couldn't be. Because whatever problems that we're having or whatever, you don't have to like me, right? But that's even more sinister, right? Because if you're the maintenance man of the building, if you change the time that you're supposed to turn the water off, then when you come into someone's apartment, you have to go to every door and knock. Say something. Say something. But do you understand that the kind of individual you have to be so malicious? If that is indeed what happened, do you understand the kind of individual you would have to be, the kind of spirit that would have to reside inside of a human being to do that, to be that way? Let me tell you something. I have 2 roommates here. Let me tell you something. No matter what I am going through with them, if I have mail for them, matter of fact, even if there is mail for them, I will leave it in the box downstairs. I won't touch their mail. But, if there's a package, I would bring the package in. If there is something to be related having to do with electricity, or you understand what I'm saying, no matter what, so even if we having We're having a disagreement. She has been locked out of the apartment, and we've had disagreements or whatever. And she can't find her keys, or she left her keys somewhere. It's been more than once. I don't answer the bell because I'm not expecting anyone. And I'm not going to let anyone into this apartment without anyone else's permission. I don't know you. That's number one. And number two, I'm not expecting any company. So, whoever you want to see in this apartment, you call them. On the phone and, let them come and open up the door for you. Because I've noticed that whenever she has company, or whenever there's someone comes to ring the doorbell, she's in her room, but she's not answering the door. And they will be ringing down the doorbell. I have gone to her door a couple times and said, hey, so-and-so is out, is at the door. And she wouldn't answer. She's inside. There's no lock on the door, right? So that gives me the hint that she doesn't want to be bothered. And I was like, oh, okay, gotcha. Because if you heard a doorbell and you're expecting company, you would go to the door, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So after a couple times that she brought it to my attention that she was very upset with the other roommate because the other roommate would hear her, at the door and wouldn't open up the door for her. And so I got to thinking. And so I had to go and talk to her. And I said, listen, let this siren go by. Because I'm very perturbed at this. Very. So I said to her, I got a brainstorm, and I went to her, and I said, listen, even though we have our disagreements, but we live here in this apartment together. And I've always said to myself, if we're living together, no matter how much, whatever type of disagreements we may have, we live together. And I would never, ever want any of my roommates to be locked out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just trying to tell you the difference between spirits. So I went to her. It wasn't on, beautiful circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll still talk to you if there's a need. I will still talk to you. So I went to her and I said, listen. I said, I don't go to the door when the doorbell or somebody downstairs. I don't have any company. I said, so if you're locked out of the apartment, in order for me, if I'm here, in order for me to differentiate a stranger from one of my roommates. I said, you're going to need to knock on the door, pound on the door. Because sometimes I'm in my room here and, I have my headphones on and so she's upset with the other roommate. But the other roommate don't know it's you out there. You're ringing the doorbell. And she doesn't go to the doorbell because whenever one of her company comes, she goes to the door because, they're cell phones for a reason. You let your company know, I'm here. They'll let you know I'm downstairs. I'm at the front door. This is how things are done. So I tell her, I say, just don't use the bell if you're locked out. Just knock on the door, pound on the door. So I heard a pounding the other day, and I'm thinking it's her. They didn't use the doorbell. They're pounding on the door. And it's some guy, and I'm just like, and I'm upset with him. I'm just like, what are you pounding on the door for? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, no, don't do that. There's a doorbell. You ring the doorbell. Because the knocking on the door is for my roommates. That's the only way you would know if one of your roommates are locked out. So the fact for me that if somebody from the building came to the door and told her that instead of turning off the water at 3 p.m., well, they're going to turn off the water now. You understand what I'm saying? Because it was right after he left, not too long, that the water was turned off. Like I said, because I heard the voice outside. It was a man's voice. But then I'm thinking it's one of her people's, right? So like I said, I didn't pay any attention to it. That's not my business. So my question is, did the maintenance man or someone come to the door, you let them in? Because I heard her asking, who is it? And I heard her open up the door and the man came in and they started talking and I just zoned out. I didn't even open up my room door because it's none of my business. It wasn't my company. So if it is indeed, if that is indeed what happened, you must be very, 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 very careful about people around you and living amongst you. These are dangerous people, very spiteful and have a very sinister and malicious spirit. Because if that is indeed who came to the door and you let him in and you're having a conversation out there, if he has indeed told you that he was going to turn off the water, why wouldn't you come and knock on my door? Have the decency. The decency. To knock on your roommate's door and let them know. You don't need, hey, they're going to turn the water off. And so I am saying this to say this. I am saying that to say this. Oh, Father. Oh! Let me tell you something. No matter how spiteful someone can be against you, never! Michelle Obama said it, I was just like, she said, when they go low, you go high. She told me that. And I was just like, I said, Mish, you really, you just don't understand. She says, she said, when they go low, you go high. She says, you don't sink to their level. And I was like, you just, and I'm just like, and I just like, okay, because you know what? I really can't, even if I wanted to, because that's not the kind of spirit that's within me, you see? And the fact of the matter is, even if she's locked out again, I'll go and open up the door for her like nothing. Because the spirit of spite is not in me. I don't have it in me to treat people the way they treat me. I keep my distance. That's the most I can do. I keep my distance. But so often you have those type of spirits that what they do, they try to test you. They would always try to do things to antagonize your spirit. What do you do when you're living amongst someone like that? I mean, these are people that are within your own household, right? Could be a spouse, could be a significant other, could be a family member. What do when you have people like that amongst you? See, I have to tell you my story because it's a lesson. It's a lesson. And the lesson is, when they go low, you just stand. They say go higher. No, I'll just stay. I'll stand my ground, and I just prefer to stay me. I prefer to stand my ground and be immovable in the spirit that's within me. And I need you all to do the same thing. I need you to do the same thing, Because there are going to be spirits just like that within your own household that is going to test you. That is going to be spiteful and malicious and sinister, and You know, often, let me tell you something. Sometimes, often, when sometimes you have men, and we're going to deal with the male spirit now. Often when you have certain men, and they know that there is a house of females or whatever, sometimes they would try to come and cause a rift or a division if it's not already there. Because some men can be messy too, you know? Oh, yeah. Because if you're working in this building and you have a sign up that says that you're going to turn off the water today between 3 and 5 p.m. And if there's any changes, now remember, I went out last night. And I came back about 7, after 7. The sign was still up. Usually they would put the sign up a day or a couple days before. You know, they would give the tenants time to be able to. My question is, how can you come into an apartment and not tell all the occupants of the apartment that you're going to turn the water off? Because you're turning the water off, 6 hours before that you're supposed to turn it off? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 5 hours? So what am I supposed to do now? Or what? I'm supposed to be held hostage in this apartment because, you know, what am I supposed to do now? Let me tell you something. The longer that I've lived in this building, this apartment, this room, I have gotten increasingly to hate living here. Do you hear me? Not just because of whom I'm living with. There's so many other things. I've told you about the stalking, but there's just other. It's on top of the other, on top of the other. Because it's your responsibility to make sure everyone in the apartment knows you're going to turn off the water at 5 hours previously to what you said that you was going to turn off the water, right? I touched on it before, you know. You could be living with someone and they know that you have to get up the next morning. Maybe you have a job, maybe you have an interview, maybe you have an appointment. And you set your alarm clock to wake up at a certain time, and that individual would turn that alarm off. Do you understand? And it doesn't have to be an alarm clock. What I'm trying to tell you, that there are people that are always going to do things to make your life harder, miserable, and you just have to be aware of that. You don't even have to do anything to them, because let me tell you something. It's what I know. Someone could dislike you and they don't even know you. I want you to wrap your brain around that. Someone could dislike you. You don't know them. Just a complete stranger for whatever reason. It could be the color of your skin. It could be your ethnicity, your culture, maybe your religion, your political views, or it could be just anything. That is the atmosphere we're living in today. You must be very, very careful. You must be very, very aware. I won't speak to her anymore, but I'll tell you something. I won't change who I am. If she gets a package outside, I'll bring it in. If she's locked out, as long as I'm here and I hear her knocking on the door, I'll open it for her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Either one of them. Because you must never allow anyone to change your nature. Never allow anyone to project their spirit upon you, because I'll tell you, if you do that, then you have received that sinister spirit that was inside of them. You ever saw that was a movie that Denzel Washington did, and I think, what was it, The Collector something, and it was spirits that flowed into other people. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody thinks that the devil is a person or a devil is a being. No, it's a spirit. It is a malevolent, malicious, sinister spirit. You must not allow that spirit to get inside of you. I do not care. Do not. You know, Mrs. Obama says you have to rise above. I'm just like, I'm not there where you are at right now, Mrs. Obama. I'm just have to just stay where I'm at. I don't know what it means to, rise high. I'm not going to. I don't know what that higher means. I just have to stay. You see, you have to let those people, those beings, let them move around you. But no matter what, you must stand. You must stay. Who you are. No matter what. No matter what. I don't often podcast, let me tell you, because of this environment that I'm in. it's not an environment that is conducive to my growth. Spiritually, you understand, but nonetheless, I stand and I'll stay for now. But you must stand. You must be immovable in who you are and what you are. Because there's a lot of things that are going to come against you. I can tell you, I know. I know. And at times it's going to feel like it's unbearable and you can't take it anymore. But as long as that water doesn't cover your whole head, because as long as the water doesn't cover your whole head, you can tilt your head back and stick your nose up and breathe. Breathe for another day, and another, and another, and another. But there's always going to be tides coming in. And just like the tide come in, it's going to go right back out. But just know that the level of the water is never going to stay the same. And as long as you understand that, you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. Tilt your head back. And you look up. Chin up, baby. That's where you're going. Love you. Take care.